coffee's hitting.
Oh man, I think I started recording right as you burped.
Oh, really?
Let's play that back.
Now you're gonna stop the recording.
Oh no. Okay, yeah, no, we'll just leave it in.
Okay.
Do you want to just go into the episode now?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, just start it.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll use the burp as your start point.
That's
for the
the start point. That's our.
Video's on.
Yeah.
You sure?
I think so.
Okay. All right, welcome to the Ear Swap podcast. As you can see, we know what we're doing.
And now I'm second guessing if I have the video
do you
on.
need to check? We just need to put a mirror behind it so we can see the screen.
Or I could do front. Anyways.
Well, welcome to the show.
Yeah.
We're good? We're good.
Oh,
All
yeah,
right.
we're Gucci. I always do this.
Yeah.
I'm always recording. I don't know. Yeah.
You record everything.
You know what? I don't want to get too comfortable
disgusting.
and think I'm always recording. So.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're doing Tool. Undertow.
Undertow.
This band was going to come up at some point on this show.
Of course it was. Before we get into the show, I was wondering if we could do a little segment called I just found this band and I think they're cool. I think you should know about them. Okay. Yeah. We'll get a better title than that. But
I like it. I'll put it on the screen.
Just have it.
I just found this band and I think you should know about them.
Yeah.
Segment.
I found a band that describes themselves as an ecstatic black metal band. They're out of California, called Agriculture.
Just about like
it's just called Agriculture. They're like a positive black metal band.
A positive black metal band.
Yeah, it's like they just signed to Flincer, which is how I found them. But they've just got like one EP out. It's pretty sick.
Yep, I found them.
Pretty cool stuff. So I've been listening to that a lot, and yeah, that's the cool band I found. That
all right, we'll throw a link for their Instagram.
Here's what it sounds
how'd you
like.
find them?
Yeah.
How did you find them?
I think the Flincer posted something about it, the record label. And I was like, oh, cool. Yeah, they're very new. But go show them some love. They got some.
Oh, they're
It's
playing,
like a really good. It's a really good EP. They
Yo, did you see they were playing that festival in Austin with Chat Pile and Godflesh?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. It's nuts. That would be such a good show.
When is that? June 15th or 18th?
Do we need to do that?
I would like to see Chat Pile.
Oh, yeah, you didn't go when they were in town, did you?
No, wasn't feeling it. I'd like to go see them before they get too big.
Yeah, they're just growing.
Grown boys.
They're grown boys. Yep.
So
what
yeah.
You've been listening to. I didn't give you any prep time, but anything, even if it's something old, it doesn't have to be something new.
Yeah, you really didn't give me any prep time.
No, I threw this at him,
thrown at me,
just as we
real
started
time.
recording. Yeah.
I've been listening to. Man, I've been kind of stuck on some fucking older stuff. songs from a lot of albums from the podcast have actually been in my rotation lately.
Really?
I've been listening to. I listened to. How It Feels to Be Something On today.
Oh yeah.
From episode 1.
Yeah, that's
just because I had like a playlist. I've been listening to that. I listened to. Still kind of jamming the Smiths every now and then.
Okay.
I haven't had like a band. I got those new John Frusciante records.
Okay.
And I have been absolutely jamming those all the fucking time.
Yeah, you haven't shut up about those.
So the front three over there, I got Enclosure, which is like one he came out in 2014. That's electronic. I got these. Shout out to the record shit. Les hooks me up. I just kind of messaged him and said if there's any John Frusciante records in print, I would take all of them. So that's the Empyrean. That is his 2009 album, and it's got awesome songs. And then that is Curtains, which is a like more acoustic driven album. And fuck, I don't have any of his records on vinyl. Some of them are incredibly hard to find.
Yeah.
So I told him like whatever's in print, I'll buy.
That's cool.
So I bought them all. Because I'm like that. I'm either all in or all out.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I've been listening to a lot of John Frusciante again, but a lot of his like later solo work. I really listened to a lot of like Will to Death and Inside of Emptiness and Record Only Water for 10 Days. But Enclosure I hadn't really delved into, but the electronic stuff on that, which I used to not be into. I remember when it came out, I was absolutely not in the mindset for that. And I really love that album, actually.
Nice. All right. Well, we probably spent enough time on that.
Yeah. The I don't remember what the segment's called, but
there
it
put
was.
it back up on the screen. That's great. More
we'll
work
do
for
that
you
every
later.
now and then.
Yeah.
So Tool Undertow.
Tool Undertow.
Okay.
Why did you recommend this album for me?
So this is Tool's first full-length studio album. They had released an EP right before it. I figured of any Tool album, because Tool has this thing around them, this cloud of pretentiousness, which I understand. But I grew up on this band. They're my dad's favorite band, so I mean they're kind of nostalgic in that sense too.
Shout out Chris.
Thank you, my dad. Very supportive father. He comes to all my shows, and he's been a great homie. Try not to cry, but yeah, I've actually kind of discovered this album. I was working out with my brother and my dad a lot, and this is like one of the best workout albums. Like when we would, just gonna sound so macho right now, but we would like lift weights and listen to, like, we'd always be like, what album do you? It was like Tool Undertow, Metallica, and Justice for All, or Kill 'Em All, or like Rage Against the Machine or something. So Talon and I had a whole conversation that Tool Undertow is one of the best workout albums ever.
Okay.
And he wants to do an episode on like good workout albums.
He would.
Talon.
Yeah.
So we're looking for guests these days. So if you want to come on by, we'll have him on here. That'll be a good time. So yeah, Tool Undertow is kind of, I rediscovered it and I ended up really loving the rawness of it. A lot of people talk about Tool's, they'd made a fucking song about the Fibonacci sequence and all the times, it was like this. This is just like a raw form of the early stages of the band. Okay. And it's the only album with their original bass player. They have Justin Chancellor now. Their original bass player's name is Paul Diamore, and it's the only one he ever played on. And he dipped out because he didn't like playing bass. He wanted to play guitar.
Okay.
Actually. And so they recorded this at Sound City Studios, which is a very, very legendary studio in California.
Yeah, how'd they get in there on their first album?
So they had already been signed to a label by EP, because they had great live performances, all that shit. But Sound City at this time was not prestigious.
Okay.
It was disgusting. Nobody had cleaned it since the 70s. Like, it was known as being a really gross studio. It had made a lot of legendary records. It made Fleetwood Mac Rumors. It made all those Rick Springfield records.
Oh, man, they probably didn't clean it after Fleetwood Mac was in there.
No, and the cigarettes and carpet. And so it was gross. The 80s happened, too. Yeah, and cum. He just threw that in there. But the 80s happened, and then Sound City kind of fizzled out.
Okay.
But it kind of came back in the 90s because Nirvana's Nevermind was made there. Rage Against the Machine, self-titled. Tool's Undertow was made there. Slipknot also recorded there on one of their records. Chili Peppers' One Hot Minute was recorded there. So there's a lot of legendary records that have been made in the studio. But at the time, it was not known as being a great one until Nevermind hit.
Okay. Then they brought in a cleaning crew and scraped it down.
Probably not, honestly.
Probably not? You think it's still gross?
Probably still. Well, it's not there anymore, unfortunately. But there's a really, really great documentary on this exact studio by Dave Grohl called Sound City, and I actually have the record from that movie called Sound City Reel to Reel on vinyl.
I'm not going to find it.
I can see it right now. It's like right next to your arm. Yep. Over. It's cool. So the movie he did, like, he bought the Neve board that was at that studio and made a record of all the people who recorded there and made a record. So there's like a bunch of like Trent Reznor, Josh Homme, and Dave Grohl did a song. Rick Springfield's on here, and Stevie Nicks. Leaving from Fear. He does a song on here called Your Wife Is Calling. Mm-hmm. And so it's a cool record. That's a kind of a hard one to find on vinyl now. So I'm glad I snagged it up. But it's cool.
There's a lot of names on this.
Yeah, there's a lot of stars on there, a lot of good artists and stuff. So yeah, I got that. And that movie's great. I will link something in the description towards it. Yeah, you just set it down there. So yeah, they recorded it there, and that studio has great drum sounds. That's probably the biggest thing it's known for. So, and every Tool album has had a great drum sound. So, I thought this, of any Tool album, was going to be one you might like. So what'd you think?
Okay, so I do have a little history with Tool. Mostly, this is probably the 4th or 5th time I've tried to get into Tool.
Oh.
Because, you know, it's such a legendary band. But everybody's always like, oh, Lateralis, listen to that. And
that's a hefty listen on a first
It is a
go.
hefty listen. I am partially into that. So that's probably one I'll get to eventually. But, yeah, I think this is a good record. It's very 1993. Like, that comes through a lot. So I kind of had to, like, push past, like, the early 90s alt metal sound and then, like, try to pick up stuff. And the first 3 songs on my first listen to wasn't so into it. But then when I got to Bottom and then Crawl Away, those two really...
Oh, man.
Crawl Away, I think, is my favorite.
Crawl Away is my favorite on this album, too.
It's got that damn good breakdown near the end.
Yeah.
Like, that's so good.
It's heavy. And Henry Rollins sings on Bottom. He does the little spoken word part.
I was going to say, you could have told me that was a Rollins band song, and I'd be like, oh, I'd believe it. That's actually Henry Rollins. Okay. Yeah. I thought they were doing a Henry Rollins impersonation.
No, he's actually on there.
Mm-hmm.
So
that makes a lot of sense now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I grew up, like, listening to this stuff. Like, my dad was always playing Tool in the car.
Oh, okay.
So I heard, like, I remember I always, like, knew he played Lateralis a lot, but, like, Undertow is the other one. And I remember hearing, like, Sober and Prison Sex and all of that. I mean, the whole record, not just the hits. And they were just all really good. I always liked them since I was a kid.
Yeah, a lot of my favorite songs on this are the ones with the fewer plays on Spotify.
Yeah.
Strangely enough. And it's not that I didn't like any songs on here. Like, they were all, like, good. There's just some of them didn't, like, catch my attention very well.
Yeah.
And I feel like Prison Sex was one of those where it just kind of, like, it didn't do anything that interested me throughout.
Interesting.
Not to say that it doesn't have anything to interest people. It's just it didn't spark anything for me. So
I think the lyrics are always been kind of a hefty thing for Tool. I think a lot of people really delve into the fucking lyrics into this band. Kind
I
of
didn't
overly
do any
so
of that on this record.
Yeah,
which is normally what I do on this show. But
I think overly so sometimes, which Tool fucks with their fan base a lot, which I think is hilarious.
Yeah.
Like, I was reading that they came up with their band name. They're like, yeah, there's this author that wrote this book, and we came up with the band name Tool because, you know, we wanted to be a tool towards other people's whatever. And then fans started looking into the book and the author. They completely made it up. They were just bullshitting. Yeah. Like, they've done that their whole career, and I think it's honestly so fucking funny. So I was looking into it. So Danny Carey, the drummer's from Kansas.
Really?
He's from Paola, Kansas. Yep.
A lot of good stuff out of Paola.
Yeah, right? Out of Paola, Kansas. But yeah, so he grew up in the Kansas area, and then he moved to L.A. and started drumming for Tool. He drummed in a band called Green Jelly, I believe was the name.
That's a good name.
Yeah. And Adam Jones, the guitar player, actually did special effects work on Terminator 2 and Jurassic Park. So he was working in L.A. as a special effects artist.
What's his name?
Adam Jones.
Okay.
And obviously a great guitar player, but he is well known for special effects work. He did this album cover. All the art in this Tool album was him.
Oh, cool.
So he did all of that, and he was just very talented. The pig on the back of it you can flip it. Is actually his pet pig. His pet pig that he had, and he just shaved Undertow into it.
Shaved that, and then like put a bunch of forks on the.
Yeah. So they got into a lot of trouble with some of the artwork on this. Back in the CD booklet, there was like a, bigger naked lady, and then there was if you flipped the black part of the booklet that was under the CD thing, there was a cow licking its own asshole.
Oh, that's pretty funny.
And they had to take that, and there were pictures of them with like pins and stuff in their heads, and the Kmart and Walmart just stopped carrying it, so Tool had to like redistribute it and then put a note out that said they send the original artwork to fans.
Wacky.
Crazy.
It's weird, like, because now it's like you can't even buy records. I mean, you can probably buy something at Walmart, but like,
not like
you don't buy records there.
Yeah, not to like the point of like you have to censor yourself extremely. And Walmart's always been like their records, they don't allow cussing on them. I've never bought records there.
Yeah, they have the weird censored ones sometimes. Yeah. I don't get that. So what's this supposed to be on the cover?
It's a rib cage. It's supposed to be a rib cage.
I see Goatsy. Do you know what Goatsy is?
You've told me this.
I've told you about Goatsy. If you don't know Goatsy, Google it, and it probably won't come up. I'll just find it because I feel like Google's going to censor it. So, but it's Goatse, which I just found out.
Is that the butthole?
It's their butthole. It's an acronym that stands
you've told me about
guy
this.
opens asshole to show everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, goatsy.
Yeah, it kind of looks like a prolapsed anus. I see.
It looks like the fingers grabbing and yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting pictures on Google. There's a real. Oh.
Did you find something?
I found a real one.
Yep.
Wow, that does.
Yep. You see what I mean?
Even with like the hand indentions on the side.
I think goatsy was a little bit after this, but that'd be really funny if.
Right on. That's pretty good. All right, that's in my Google searches now.
Oh, don't worry.
Yeah,
it's in many people's.
Yeah.
So
I really love this record. The production on it's cool. Sylvia Massy produced this, and she is an incredible producer.
Yeah. It all sounded great. The drums sounded incredible.
The drums on Tool records have always sounded good.
It's interesting because normally I like the guitar work in most things you've suggested me. Like that's what I've been into. This one is not so much. I don't really like the guitar tones in a lot of their songs. It's got that 90s like digital solid statey sound.
Weird because he played a Marshall super bass.
I'm sure it wasn't, but it's just the distortion sound.
The type of distortion.
Well,
he plays like drop D, so it's like it has that thing to it.
Which I mean, I'm fine with drop D, but it's just like the type of distortion sounds very 1993.
Yeah, I can see that.
And it's just not my favorite.
Okay, I get that.
They're good. They're good musicians, definitely.
Yeah.
Like I don't think anybody's trying to say they're not.
Right, they're incredible. Danny Carey is one of the best modern drummers.
Dude, the drumming is incredible.
I mean, he's always been one of my favorites. He's very creative, very expressive. Yeah. I mean, just to think about songs in a way like that, he's always been incredible. And the like I said, the drum sounds on Tool records have always been clear. They've been super powerful. They've really managed to keep that up.
So one of my favorite things about this record, and I'm assuming the rest of their work as well, I haven't listened to very much of it. But it's just very dynamic.
Yeah.
Like it's the songs change throughout like drastically.
Yeah.
And then they're like be really quiet parts and then they'll blast up into like a really heavy, like loud part.
Yeah.
And I just love when songs do that. I really don't like when a song starts a certain way, continues on that same way, and then ends the same way.
Yeah.
Especially with like heavier stuff.
Yeah.
It's very boring to me.
Yeah.
So dynamics make this record, I think.
They continue to keep that up. That's a very good quality they've had since they've started, was dynamics and doing things that you wouldn't expect. Maynard's vocals also, he can wail. I've always really loved his voice. His voice has always been one of my favorites. He can scream, but he can do the singing really well, I think.
It's one that it's not fully my style. Again, is like the vocals, because some of it was edging on like the butt rocky sound of vocals.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. In some of the songs, not in all of the songs, but in some of them, it was just like the 90s like gravel voice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas, with my metal, I usually go for harsher sounding vocals, but I don't think his vocals are the standout part of this record, though. Like, I mean, they're present, they add to the songs, but I think the instrumentation really takes center stage.
Yeah. And Tool is always like that, like Maynard's vocals, because I think especially now, a lot of this material was more live driven, and I think you can tell it's more like accessible and live driven, where
for sure
albums after this, they really stepped in a direction of experimentation with time signatures and really trying different tones. Yeah, like proggy, and also like going through not just a distorted tone the whole way through. They've really grown.
Strangely, I think I would be into their later stuff more than I am into this record, but I think I needed to listen to this record to get into that stuff. Because like overall, like I don't know if I'll go through this whole album and like listen to it a lot, but there's songs I'm definitely going back to.
I think Crawl
Away, Bottom, Undertow, Flood, and honestly Disgustipated. I fucking love that. That was so good.
So did you hear that they shot a shotgun into a piano?
Yeah, into a grand piano is what they said, and that's in the
studio.
They just main beat for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which sounds awesome.
Sounds really
There's
cool.
actually footage of that on YouTube. Sylvia Massy had a bunch of footage from the session. Not a bunch, but she had some that she uploaded on her YouTube channel of Tool making this record. And it's pretty cool to see him. Like, there's a scene of Maynard shooting the shotgun into the piano. I'll link it in the description. It's really
I'd like
cool.
to see that.
Yeah. So
this is the second destroyed piano on this show that we've covered.
Oh yeah, that's
the
right.
Clipping record.
Yeah.
Go listen to the Clipping episode if you haven't.
Yeah. God, that's a good record. I can't wait to jam that
That's
at Halloween this year.
I can't wait to make you listen to this next one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, Disgustipated's cool. It's also one of those CD hidden track things that people used to do because
a 15-minute hidden track.
Yeah, so what they did is they did 10 to 67 tracks of 1 second bits, and then 68 is 2 seconds, and track 69 is a hidden track. So that's definitely of the CD era kind of thing.
That is something.
Which is why it's so long, is it's just silence.
Yeah.
And then you get the little hidden track at the end, which is funny. And the Opiate EP also had that as well, and it was called the Gaping Lotus Experience. It was the same thing, but Disgustipated has that at the beginning, that like Brian or the what's the fucking Jonestown thing?
Jim Jones.
Jim Jones.
Brian he's talking about carrots.
Yeah, it sounds like the
Jonestown
thing, and I think that's what it was correlated.
I mean, he was
from.
going off of like charismatic preachers for sure. And the whole first like minute of it is just like sheep noises. Like it's nuts. Yeah. But I remember that started playing. I was like, what the fuck is this? And then I looked at the time. I was like, this is 16 minutes almost. And then I was just like, let it play. And I was like, oh, I love the build to this.
Yeah. And it's like, it's kind of scary sounding. I love the sound of it. It's very out of the norm of the rest of the record.
Which Flood has a really long like intro instrumental too, right?
Yeah.
That's the one. That's a great song. Flood.
Yeah, their instrumentals are solid. Crawl Away has always been. When I've gotten back into this record, every time that song comes on, I'm like, fuck.
Third least played song on this album on Spotify.
Really? I mean, I'm sure Sober and Prison Sex and Intolerance are probably the top three. Intolerance is really good.
It goes Disgustipated, Flood, and then Crawl Away is the next. So yeah. And yeah, Crawl Away. Honestly, the breakdown is what made that for me. Like that breakdown when it hit, I was just like, oh yeah, this is what I'm into.
Yeah.
But I'd like to hear more of that on the record, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
But I'm a slut for breakdowns though. So
that's my your inner rural hardcoreness coming out. Huh?
Yes, definitely.
So I've seen Tool live actually. I seen them.
How was that?
Gosh, it was pretty good. I seen him in an arena, which is always like, I went to Oklahoma to see him, and it was back in 2013, 2014, I think. And I was glad I seen him for sure. They were really good. Maynard doesn't go out on the front of the stage though.
Really?
He stays in the back by Danny and sings.
Interesting.
Because people fuck with him a lot, so he stopped going out front. Yeah. So it's just like
that sucks.
Adam, Jones, and Justin and Danny like all kind of doing it. And Maynard's just dark in the corner.
Well, you know what they say about Tool fans. They're tools.
Yeah. Good one.
Sucks. Yeah. That sucks that they messed with him so much he didn't want to be up front.
Yeah. Well, I think he's also just kind of like you gotta have your own distance, because Tool fans they can be very bizarre. At least allowed Tool fans can be that way.
Yeah.
Which could be only a small percentage.
That's honestly another reason why I never really got into Tool, is because they have kind of obviously not all of them. Your dad's a sweetheart, but I've met too many Tool fans that were just douchebags.
Yeah.
Like the guys that only wear Tool shirts.
My dad kind of wears Tool shirts a lot.
He wears a lot of them, but there's like high school aged kids that don't change out of their Tool shirt.
Oh yeah.
Those guys suck.
Dude, my dad's been a Tool fan though since like a long time ago. Like he was a fan of them when Anima came out, which is their record after this. Like he's been a fan since the 90s and seen them back on the Lateralis tour, I believe, Dad.
That's cool.
And then he's seen them again on their 10,000 Days tour. So he's seen them a couple times. And then we seen them together as a family. That was like a family vacation. And Primus opened up for him.
That would be a wacky show.
Primus was fucking incredible.
Yeah.
They were so good in an arena. They had a really good sound for an arena.
Okay.
And it was great to see them. They used to play together back in the day all the time.
Did they play the South Park introduction?
No, they
didn't.
Song? No. They played some shit from, I like their record, Frizzle Fry. That's a good Primus record.
I haven't listened to much Primus. They're kind of not an easy band to get into.
No, they're not.
They're weird.
They're quirky.
I like that they're weird, but I just haven't. It kind of also keeps me from listening to them too much. So.
They're kind of a goofy band, for sure. But they were really good live. Tool was good. I mean, I'd see them again if I had free tickets. Yeah. But I wouldn't go out of my way.
Man, I don't really like arena shows.
Arena shows are kind of
my
like
thing.
They all smell the same. They all look the fucking same. Mm. I don't care what arena you go to, they all look the same. Every time. Like, and that's kind of like, and the sound is never really as good as you want it to be.
No, you're so damn far away unless you paid like an insane,
ungodly amount of money to do anything.
Not my thing. Also, like most bands I want to see, they're not big enough to play
the arena level.
So.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I love this record. I don't know if I bought this record or if I don't even remember where I got it. I think it was my dad's. Okay. Maybe. Dad, I don't know if I'm right on that, but if I am.
Record was a little scratched up.
Was it?
Mm-hmm. It didn't really affect it very much, but had a few little marks on it.
I don't remember whose it was. I don't know how I ended up with it, but great record. I also have Lateralis on vinyl, which is like a picture disc too.
Yeah, there's like a billion releases of that record too.
Yeah, there's not any of Anima, which is my favorite Tool record.
Okay.
And it's fucking such a good record, and they haven't done a vinyl re-release on it. I thought they were in 2017 for like the 20-year anniversary, and they never did.
Yeah. Well, if you find one, I'm sure it's worth a lot.
Yeah. 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 So, what would you give this out of pigs?
Out of pigs?
Yeah. Out of your cat pig.
Out of my cat pig. This is a solid 7.5 out of 10.
Nice.
Yeah.
You know what? That's 2 albums. So I gave you 2 90s albums, and you both gave them a 7.5. Right on.
Yeah. I actually think I would rather I would pick Tool above Soundgarden.
Really?
Yeah. I just think they're more what I'm into.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just entirely just personal preference. Like
for sure.
I dig this a little bit more.
Cool.
But both of those excellent albums, excellent recordings. Like I can't complain about them too much.
Right.
You know? Like,
honestly, I never thought you'd go above a 5 on any like 90s album that I'd recommend.
I'm really trying to give these a chance, and I'm trying to find out what I like about them. And,
right.
You know.
Right.
Yeah.
I knew at some point these were gonna plop up in here. Plop up. So, all right. Well, that's right on.
Show. So, next episodes,
we're doing breakup.
We're gonna do breakup albums.
So for
just
the month,
in time for, February and Valentine's Day and all you people that are happy.
In love.
Fuck you.
Yeah.
I am also happy. Holy shit!
I know you and I.
Anima is $450.
You can't find them,
and it's not in the U.S. And then there's €1,000 one.
Yeah,
that's
what
nuts,
I'm saying,
man.
That's
€40. That there's got to be something wrong with that one. 40 really? For $70 you can get that one from France.
Buy it right now. I'm sure the shipping's like $500.
It's not. That's 70 including shipping.
Huh. Maybe you stumbled on something here.
Maybe.
I should have grabbed the record I was going to recommend you before I fucking sat down.
Well, I don't have the record that I'm going to recommend you. So.
Do you not have it on vinyl?
I don't have it on vinyl.
That's okay.
So, how are we doing this? Since we have like the new format, do we want to just keep flopping back and forth?
Yeah, we can flip-flop.
Because, so we did Gunfighter Ballads and Trail Songs, and then...
Yeah, and then we did Tool. So, I mean, these will be the last 2 weeks in February.
Yep.
We're going to make February a love month, not just a love day with February 14th.
Yes, a hate month.
Yeah, hate month.
So, the record I am recommending for you is by a band called Frightened Rabbit, and it is titled Midnight Organ Fight.
Okay.
It's going to be a sad one, just so you're aware.
2008.
2008, yep.
I'm recommending one to you that's also in the same era. I don't know if it came out the same year. So I'm recommending one to you that I think you knew was coming at some point, and it's one of my fucking favorites. It came out in 2006.
Okay.
And it is Amy Winehouse, Back to Black. And that is a breakup album, baby.
Okay. I don't know Amy Winehouse at all. I just know about her antics.
She's a sad result of getting famous too quickly.
Yeah, these are going to be real this is going to be real happy episodes back to back.
Outsat each other part 2.
Pretty much, yeah. But yeah, I think that'll be
cool.
Good ones. So
all right,
excellent.
Well, we'll be doing those next time. So we're going to start off with Back to Black's going to be the next episode, and then it'll be Frightened Rabbit. So, yeah, thank you all for watching. If you like this new format, let us know. They're kind of just short spurt episodes every week.
Yeah.
But we're doing we always have clips coming out and stuff every week of previous episodes leading up to it. So
Tell us if you hate it. Tell us if you love it.
Yeah.
I think we can give better, put out better episodes if we're just doing one record at a time. Personally.
Yeah. Easy on the brain.
Yes. Yep. Don't have to think about both Tool and Marty Robbins at the same time, which is
pretty
intense. Hard to do. So
pretty intense.
All right. Well, follow us on all the social media stuff
at Earswap Pod.
Earswap Pod. We still have shirts for sale.
Yeah.
You should buy a shirt.
Buy a shirt.
Wear it to church.
Yeah. And also listen along with us too.
Yeah, please listen along. Let us know what you think.
I'm sure most people have heard Back to Black.
Probably more listeners than I have.
Yeah.
To, so.
That's one of my favorite albums. So I'm glad we're doing this.
Okay.
Be sure to check out the next 2 episodes we got coming for February, which is going to be Back to Black, Amy Winehouse, and Frightened Rabbit, the Midnight Organ Fight.
Yes.
So thank you all for watching. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
And I'm feeling.
I'm going to wear more of my girlfriend's clothes.
Eat my sock. Goose Banner.
Instead of Bruce Banner.
Oh, okay. That's a stretch, but I like it.
As Dave Grohl once said, done, on to the next one, done, I'm done, and I'm on to the next. Yeah. Hey, thank you for watching that full episode. If you liked it, we also have Earswap clips, and we also have some Earswap merch. You can see me wearing it. You can get it at earswappod.bandcamp.com. So be sure to check that out. There is a link in the description.
You can look just like this guy.